Don't eat after 7 p.m. Don't eat carbs. They're bad for you and they make you gain weight. Don't eat it if the fat content is too high. Wait, fat is good in foods now, right? Isn't it? Are you ever confused by all of the food rules out there? I mean, seriously, what is a girl supposed to do with all the information telling her that she should eat this, but definitely don't eat that? And even more importantly, what about the food rules that you've made for your own self? What rules do you mumble under your breath when you start thinking about eating? Hey, I'm Elizabeth, and I am here to help you become a woman of wellness by healing your relationship with food. And today, we are getting rid of those pesky food rules that plague your mind all day long. So I want to start by defining a food rule. Basically, it's any guideline or rule that helps you make a decision to eat something or not. It's not really about an emotional connection, although following food rules will lead to an emotional eating response. It's just black and white. You're either supposed to eat something or you're not. That's your rule. There are two problems that we run into when we follow these food rules, which are either set by others or the ones that we've created by ourselves. The first is that we turn eating into an emotional and guilt-filled experience. If we eat food that is off limits because of a rule, we actually automatically feel guilt or frustration that we couldn't control ourselves. Have you ever felt that? We broke the rule and we are worthless, we have no willpower, and we'll never lose the weight. And all of the other stories we tell ourselves when we eat something that we shouldn't. The second problem that we run into is that we completely lose the ability to learn how to be an intuitive eater. We don't get to learn what food tastes and feels good to us because we're constantly worried about it if it's bad or good for us. So, what do? How do you get rid of all of those food rules you've probably had for, I would guess, at least most of your life? The first step is to start recognizing them. Every time you make a decision to eat, I want you to pay attention to how that decision was made. Were there any rules that led you to that choice? Spend a few minutes at each meal to start listening to your internal food dialogue. You actually might be surprised at some of the stories that you create that maybe you weren't even aware of. Second, create a true and positive statement in response to the food rule. So once you've recognized those food rule, now we need to start changing it. Let me give you an example to help you understand kind of what I'm talking about. There was a time in my life where I learned, and I have no idea where from, that eating chicken and vegetables was the only and best way to lose weight and eat healthy. Everything else was bad for you. Carbs were bad for you, and fruit was a form of carbs, so you should probably avoid that too, right? For a few days, I ate chicken and vegetables, and it was so gross. I was so sick of it. But in my head, I had this rule that that's how I was going to lose weight. The rule is that treats and any form of sugar, including breads and fruit, which are carbs, plagued me. I'm sure you can guess what happened next. I was starving by day 3, and I threw it all out the window, accepting that I was not going to be the skinny girl, whatever that means, that I wanted to be. It really sounds a little silly saying out loud, but I'm sharing it with you because I'm guessing that you've probably had some similar thoughts throughout your life, no matter what your body looked like or if you fit the norm for what a woman should look like, which obviously there's nothing to that. You know what I'm talking about. Once I started to realize that chicken and vegetables were not going to make me happy, I had to start changing my food rules. So, what were my positive and true statement? Let me share them with you. All kinds of food are good for my body because they all provide different nutrients. I can happily eat all foods I enjoy in moderation. Now, I recognize that this statement may take some time to soak in and actually believe, but I want to promise you that it's true. There is a place in your life for all kinds of food. And you know what happened? As soon as I got rid of those food rules, I was so much happier. That is the power that getting rid of these food rules can have in your own life. So your homework today is to start recognizing the rules that hold you back and slowly begin to eliminate them one by one. And if you're wondering if there's a place and a time for weight loss and healthy goals, because I'm sure that's a question that will come up, the answer is yes. And I will address more about this in another video. But for today, it's important to start getting rid of those pesky food rules first. And if you want to work more on improving your overall relationship with food, I want you to check out the description below. I've linked all the resources I have for you, including a free Overcome Emotional Eating course. Thanks for being here today, and I'll see you next time.